show you where we used to have some historical debates, like the debate we had in 1969, in which I participated, and Professor Mazrui was there, and Dr. Rodney was there. Even Kanyihamba, I remember Kanyihamba was also there. And we had our big arguments between the patriots, who were led by Dr. Rodney, and those who were pro other ideas, led by Professor Mazrui. I remember Professor Mazrui saying, I am not in conflict with Dr. Rodney. And then Rodney came up and said, we are not in conflict, we are not even in contact. Very historic debate. Because you cannot conflict with somebody who is talking about different things when you are talking about different things. So I congratulate the university. As Professor Nawang said, my main concern was the records of the university, of the students. But otherwise, Ekizimbe, Buzimbe, you just build a new one. That's no big problem. So we have built it now. Secondly, I want to congratulate you on having a new chancellor in the person of Dr. Crispus Kiyonga. Dr. Crispus Kiyonga is an outstanding cadre and leader of the NRM. He's a member of the Central Committee and has been very active in our efforts ever since 1980, when we were involved with UPM. So I congratulate him and I congratulate the university. Now, universities, including Makerere, are centers of knowledge. The question is, what is knowledge? Knowledge is about what? Part of the problem of Africa has been the confusion on this idea. What is knowledge? The universe, there are different figures which I have seen. Some figures say the universe has been here for the last 30 billion years. Others say 15 billion. But the universe has been here for a very long time. The universe, the earth, the planets, beyond the planets. However, the human beings have been here in our form, in our present form, have been here for 4.5 million years, according to some records. So that is when what you call Homo sapien evolved. The wise man. The wise man. Now, much of the knowledge is around this man, this wise man. This wise man had three characteristics which other creatures did not have. He had a superior brain, he was bipedal, he could stand on two legs, when most animals walk on four or crawl on the ground. And he had a hand that could do work and shape tools. Now, within the NRM, we studied this evolution of man and society very seriously. And we call it political economy. Now, political economy is not political science, the sort of things I saw in the university when we were there. Political economy is the study of the laws that govern the evolution of society. Now, one of the stimulus for the evolution of society is the advance in science and technology. When science and technology advance, mostly advanced by this man, the Homo sapiens sapien. And what it means is that this man understands the laws of nature, which are there, but people didn't know. Gravity was not created by man, it was there. Gravity is a force of nature. But people didn't know that there was a force called gravity until somebody pointed it out. All the natural laws are there. Now, by understanding them and using them to solve society problems, then science and technology have moved forward. It is therefore very, very crucial for all academicians to understand this. 1.5 up to the human beings were tree dwellers. They were staying in the trees because that's where it was safe to be. But 1.5 million years ago, man invented fire. The invention of fire caused huge changes in society. Society changed from living in the trees to living in the caves, because they now had fire, which enabled them to go into the dark caves, chase the wild animals, the snakes there, and stay there. And it was safer there. It was safer and more comfortable in the cave than in the trees. And you can go step by step. The invention of agriculture. Society was hunter-gatherer. Society were hunting and gathering. That's how they were getting food. Until they learned the science of domesticating crops, picking some seeds and planting them. Or, like my tribe, who long ago learned how to domesticate wild animals and make them cows. This was a big progress in society. So it's very important for, in our teaching, for this information to be very clear. It is on a, yesterday I was talking to some lawyers, some Chief Justices in Munyonyo. If you trace, I think the first time Egypt was colonized was some years AD something, when a group called the Hittites invented iron tools before the Egyptians invented them, because the Egyptians were still using brass and maybe some bronze or something like that. But the iron tools were stronger. than the other metros. So, therefore here, in the case of the universities of Africa, including Makerere, I know you have been doing very well in the area of natural sciences, medicine, and some other sciences, agriculture started long ago, veterinary, later on engineering was added. When we came into government, I insisted on creating the food science technology. I added it myself, I insisted. How can you say you are studying science and you don't study science about food? And you are studying cockroaches and I don't know what. So I insisted. And I also insisted on the faculty. I don't know what it is doing now. The faculty of quantitative economics. Echivaro, ability to do project analysis. Because when we had just come into government, I inquired, because I knew the importance of that discipline. Project evaluation and so on. Where are people trained in project evaluation, profitability analysis? So there's only the University of, in the UK, what were they calling? There was a university there where they were going. I've forgotten the name. But why don't you start your own faculty? I hope you start. It was started, I don't know how it is doing well or how it is doing now. Because I still see people going to import people to do project analysis, feasibility study, what have you. I've forgotten that university where they were. So, on the side of natural sciences, these universities, like the ones in Africa, have been doing some work. But I want you to audit. How are you doing it? Can you not improve the teaching of science? Science, which means understanding the laws of nature and using them to solve problems. For instance, people have been getting the BSc agriculture from here for a long time. I remember I saw the first people in 1955 in Tungamo there. We had never seen anybody from Makerere. You know where Tungamo is? Tungamo Post Office Private Bagambarara. And we saw a man called Garukande. Mtawan wa Bitaro. A piki. I think he was an assistant agriculture officer. Say, he's from Makerere. And he has got a diploma. We were really impressed. But when I came into government, even before I came into government, I knew those people who had done BSc agriculture. At that time, during the time of the colonial people, it seems, I don't know, you can study it. It seemed they were teaching our people very well how to grow crops, how to put them in line, how to use improved seeds, how to do this. Good agricultural practices. But value addition, it seems, was not being talked about. When you produce, I know this because from my guerrilla side, I came to know more about value addition than even some of our people, the scientists. For instance, when I went to Namulonge, where they were telling me about cotton. They were saying cotton, you can get textiles from cotton. You can get cooking oil from cotton seeds. You can also get animal feeds from cotton seed cake. I waited. They didn't. They stopped there. I said, do you know that you can get gunpowder? That they get gunpowder from cotton? And these people seem not to know. They didn't know why the Chinese were buying so much cotton from here, taking it. They would go and make gunpowder, nitrocellulose, and sell it to us here who are asleep. And because of that, you find our military industries are not as efficient as the Chinese ones, because we are using imported gunpowder, nitrocellulose, to pack it here. Our only job is to pack it. So I was telling you, why don't you produce? We are the ones with the cotton. So these science courses, they must be, as we say, vertically integrated, teaching our people how to look for the raw materials, as the professor was saying, Professor Nawang was saying, how they can look for the minerals. But we should not only have the technology to look for the minerals, but to add value to all of them up to the last, so that we get maximum value from them. So that's one area of refining our knowledge about nature from the science side. Now, this is now natural sciences. But from the science side of social science, it is again the same challenge. Because this human being, this Homo sapiens sapien, when he was inventing things, and it would affect the way society is organized. You have seen that when fire was invented, the whole society changed from staying in trees to staying in caves. When our people, ancient people invented agriculture, the whole thing changed. In the hunter-gathering times, the hunter was very important because he's the one who was feeding the family. But now, with the crops, the one who could cultivate became very important, and who could domesticate animals. So every change in level of science affects the society. Now, are we conversant with these social ideas? Because these are now social ideas now. I came here and I spoke to Professor Chirumira. He was the one heading the history department. And I wanted to engage them because I was already very active with the science side. The food technology people, I was with them, Chamhangire, Florence Muranga, and all of those. The Kira Motors, Musasizi, Tokodri, I'm always very busy with those. To deepen the ideas of natural science. How about the social science side? Because there are a lot of problems there. The paralysis in Africa is because of that side of the social sciences. The correct ideas of how to organize society. So I therefore challenge you and I challenged Dr. Kionga to audit this. How is that? When we came from the bush, I brought these ideas. And I met Dr. Mujaju. We came, I talked with Dr. Mujaju, we talked. I thought he had got what I was saying. Introducing political economy as a paper, the paper in all courses. Whatever you study, have a paper to understand the laws that govern the changes in society. Which are these laws? I'm telling you that law number one is that when there's change in science and technology, there are concomitant changes in society. That's what I'm telling you now. And this is what I wanted Mujaju to follow up. But then Mujaju went and made development studies. Before I knew that you could get a degree in development studies. It was a whole degree now. But me, I was talking about a paper in political economy, not how is the development studies from, where do you put economics, where do you put what? I couldn't. Up to now, I have not had time really to go back for that battle. So when I went to our university in Mbarara, which I had started, because in Mbarara I started it myself, and I wanted it to follow I put a faculty of medicine. Then with Professor Kayanja, we added a faculty of computer science, science education, to teach science teachers. Then we added, I think, Bachelor of Nursing, and Bachelor of Computer, something. Then they had started development studies. Please. Please. I don't know what I protested. I didn't go on the streets, but I don't know whether it is still there in Mbarara or what. So, with these few words, regarding the road unit, that's a very good idea. A road unit I would definitely support that, so that you can have your own road unit. You teach your engineers how to make roads and how to to do buildings and so on. Practically, I totally agree with that. Coming to talk to the students, I will be very happy. Oh, I like talking. If you invite me. If you invite me, you do so at your own risk. So I will happily come. But I think we are moving very well, because since we introduced the research fund, you have seen what has been achieved. The banana project of Dr. Muranga, the projects of Professor Chamhanje, the Kira Motors, the vaccines, things are really moving. The anti-tick vaccine of Dr. Kahwa and Naro, they have invented an anti-tick vaccine where you can kill where the cow can kill the ticks. So the ticks are now endangered species instead of endangering the cows. So we are moving very well. I just want us to refine that. All these graduates of agriculture, you must not only grow the crops, but know how to use them to the last gram. Because what's happening in the world is a scandal. I have given you the example of coffee. The value of coffee in the world I've told you this before, is $460 billion. But all the coffee-growing countries in the world, Brazil, all of them, Colombia, Uganda, they share only $25 billion from the $460 billion. You can't believe it. And Africa is sharing only $2.5 billion of the 460 billion. So we say we are growing coffee. You know, Uganda is a coffee-growing country. Coffee-growing country. Growing, how can you lose so much value? Of the 2.5 billion, Uganda is getting 900 million because of the big quantities we are producing. A country like Germany, which does not grow a single tree of coffee, from coffee, because they roast and grind the coffee in Hamburg, they get more money from coffee than all the coffee-growing countries in the world, more than 2 times. Huh? And then you have got educated people in those countries. They are just there. So this is terrible. So the crisis you see in Africa, security, lack of jobs, is because of this knowledge among the intelligentsia of these countries, of the third world countries. In the government, I have been having a big war about value addition. It's as if it's my problem. You remember one time in Parliament, they were opposing value addition to the coffee, almost causing a clash between me pushing for, because now, when you sell unprocessed coffee beans, you get $2.5 a kilo. But that same kilo, after it is processed and so on, it can go up to as much as $40 a kilo. So how can you have all these things like this happening? So when you hear the crisis in Africa, West Africa, wars, young people dying in the ocean, going to Europe, it is because of this gap in social science. Social science must move up, must catch up with history, must go from being social science of colonialism to social science of liberation. I thank you and I congratulate everybody.
We thank you very much, Your Excellency, for those remarks. Thank you always for the wisdom that you give to Makerere University and for the leadership that you have provided